Hello, hello, hello. Today I got something that when it first came out in late 2017, I really fancied it, but didn't have any money. And now you can buy these brand new for about $165. This one I got just refurbished. It cost about just less than 100, and this is the ZTE Axon M. The reason I wanted to get this was, well, I'll show you. Yay! Yep, this is the reason I wanted to get it. This is a dual-screened folding phone. Okay, so just briefly with the specs, it has two 5.2 Full HD screens, Snapdragon 821, 4 GB of RAM, 64 GB ROM, takes an SD card. The camera, let me just check, is 20 megapixels, and the camera is here, and USB-C, some speakers at the bottom, and it does have a headphone jack. Now this thing is built, it does feel very sturdy. It's not cheap at all. It doesn't feel cheap at all. Let's see, you do feel the quality, let me see, I did AT&T, which I want to show you, and then I want to see if you can see here the white here. Now this is the only thing that I'm slightly disappointed with. Okay, so anyway, eventually I got round to getting an AT&T score of 204,000, which is not bad. 2-year-old phone. I really didn't have any problems with it whatsoever. Let me see if I can open this again and show you. Okay, can you see here, there and there is a difference in tint on the main screen and the secondary screen. So I googled this, and seemingly many people have mentioned this. It could be a fault, I don't know. They said you could try some power saving options and night light thing, which I tried, and it didn't make any difference for me. Ultimately, it didn't bother me that much, as I hadn't paid a lot of money for it. It didn't bother me that much, and when it's kind of in color, as you can see here with this blue screensaver, let me just show you, you don't really notice it so much there, you can see. So that's not too bad. So up from the back, now this was a AT&T phone, and I believe that it was only carried by AT&T, and of course this one came from America. The back looks pretty industrial, so nothing to write home about with regards to that. Now, to control the screen, you can choose this M button. I'm not sure what that means, but here, so you can have screen mirror, or you can have full screen for using spread over the two screens, or you can have A and B, move up to another screen. Okay, got it. Don't know what that means. Okay, right. So, and then you can just have a blank screen. Although I'm not sure what the point of that is, or maybe just for when you're using it. Yeah, save power, I suppose. I was using it mostly as a dual screen, full screen, because I just liked it. Now, of course, folding phones have been getting in the news recently, as people would have seen the Samsung Fold, and then the Huawei and the new Motorola Fold phone. The Samsung one obviously had a bit of bad press because of really issues with the screen. This doesn't have that sort of issues, because it is two separate screens that kind of join up in the middle with a relatively thick band there. So I'm you're not getting a seamless viewing experience, but I didn't mind it. I really, once I'm just looking at Facebook, YouTube and stuff like that, and maybe if I was watching a big movie, I would be a bit more disturbed by it, but I quite liked it. I don't mind it, I'll say, as opposed to quite liking it. You're not going to have any problems with the fold, and this hinge on this feels super, really like very, very strong. You have unusual, the power button is a kind of not, I would say ergonomically is not in a great place, and the power button also is your fingerprint button as well, which I like, but it's not placed well, and sometimes, especially when both the screens are off, and you're not maybe at night or something, you're kind of looking what screen is there, it's a bit of a faff. So it could have been done better, but I'm going to give them a pass because the quality of the build pretty much is solid as a rock. Camera's not bad, 20 megapixel, but okay, so when you turn the camera on, let me see, you will see, so I've turned it on here on the main screen, and then you will see that it is on here on the secondary screen, and then you have to turn that round and okay, got that, and then so it's a bit of a faff, but again, really not using it too much. For the camera is alright. I'm not saying it's brilliant, but it's okay, it's clear enough, and it's fine for selfies, short videos, stuff like that. Nothing to write home about, but it's fine. Now, what is really good with this phone that I have noticed using my RHA S500 headphones is, I think the sound is really, and these RHAs are really nice budget headphones. I think the sound coming from this phone, I don't know, it's just, I mean, it's miles better than most of the phones I've tried of late. It is just really, really good. So I don't know if it has what kind of DAC it has. If it has a DAC, I'm not exactly sure. But for me, I just found it to be really very powerful, really full-bodied. I just, as I say, just comparing it with other phones that I have tried recently, I was really surprised with this. So as a media storage, you've got 64 GB, put in an SD card, 128 GB. This could just be your media player, and on the go travel phone. And I don't think anybody would be disappointed for wired headphones. Now I've connected my what do you call them, my AirPod Pros, and it was fine. But the wired sound was really, really good. Now, for those of us in KSA, I noticed with me, when I put in my SDC SIM card on data, it was only getting Edge or the E signal for the data. It wasn't even getting to 4G, so I'm not sure if that's to do with the bands or something. Wi-Fi wise, excuse me, still got that cold. Wi-Fi wise, no problems whatsoever, and of course I didn't try any other carriers, but it's certainly something to think about if you're in the GCC and you maybe want to buy it, and it could have been the day that I had, I don't have my SIM card in it now, but the day that I had it in, it was really overcast and raining here, and I was inside my job, so it could have been something to do with that. I ain't sure. Now I want to just share, I always like to share apps if I find anything that is really worth sharing, and this app, this music player, Pulsar, it's free for the most part. This is a great free music player. You can upgrade it, and I think I might upgrade it to get the graphic equalizer. You can upgrade it, but really it's the best music player, certainly organisational wise, looks wise, and I've used a few, and I have a few paid subscriptions, as not subscriptions, but few paid apps that I have bought, and really this one is far superior. So, excuse me, it's worth your while, and of course I get nothing from Pulsar, I'm just mentioning it because I like it. This phone coming from AT&T does have some bloatware on it that you cannot delete. You can disable, and it's not a big deal. Certainly I didn't find it a big deal. And there's let's see, hold on, let me put this right, get it for you. Oh, where is it? Oh, I switched. There we go. Okay, so here, I don't know if you can see that, this one is slightly bluish tone, the main screen, and this one's a bit whiter, so maybe I can do something with this. I didn't try 100% try everything, but it might be that I can adjust. Let's see. The display, if I remember, there wasn't much options, but there could be an app, maybe. Adaptive brightness. I put that on. Now there was a sign, so force apps to work with dual screen, because if you don't do that, some apps weren't working very well. Ambient display, wake screen when you receive notifications. I don't see anything that might help me, but there could be an app, maybe. Anyway, this is obviously not going to be in my possession much longer. I believe somebody is going to take it from me, but I am considering buying another one. I will, if I ever have any money. Don't tell my wife. So you can also share, I saw this somewhere, so you can share media if you wanted to with somebody watching YouTube or something. They'd be watching you. You could watch them there. I suppose that is something. What else can I tell you? Well, look, I can only say so the other thing that I wanted to say was, I'm sure there are covers available. So I didn't get a cover with this, but really, it's got Corning Gorilla Glass. I think it's 4 or 5 or 3 or 4, something like that. But you're going to need a cover, because it will be just prone to be getting scratched, and I'm sure on eBay there are Amazon, whoever it is you shop, they're probably easy to find a cover. But really, I think that is you do have to have a cover. What else can I say? Look, I just think on a day-to-day usage, when I used it, okay, people might say it's a bit heavy and it's only 1080p full HD, but I think the screens are pretty decent. Oh, it's got too big a forehead and chin, but I don't mind it, and this unusual dual screen makes it pretty cool. Excuse me, I had a late night last night. Makes it pretty cool. And look, you can see here, I mean, that's, look, the difference in the screen's not really noticeable, but there is a difference. Would you buy this? Well, I mean, I would buy it, definitely. A new version. If I'm going to buy again, if I'm going to buy one, I'm going to buy a new one. Not refurbished one. Although this one, the screen was just a couple of small scratches and some scuffs on the body. It's actually a pretty decent nick. Both the screens are really good. Both the screens, I think, are really good. And I just like the coolness of having a folding display that doesn't cost you a couple of $1,000s. Now, if I can remember rightly, Sony had a phone very similar to this. It folded like this with a hinge, and I remember I was going to try and buy one, but it was, at that time, it was still quite high priced, but there's no way it had the same spec as this, because it was probably a wee bit older. This is still, spec-wise, 4GB RAM, 64GB ROM is still pretty decent. So a travelling phone, music player, media consumption phone, second phone, just to have a a cool looking phone, definitely worth it. If you can get it less than $150, buy it. I think a techie, any kind of techie, would really, 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 really enjoy it. Okay, that's it. Questions, comments, anything you want to know, I will do my best to answer. This has been the ZTE Axon M. Oh, and just by the way, I had another ZTE phone, I think I reviewed, I just don't remember the name of it, but it did have some malware on it, or that it kept showing these pop-up adverts. It was very annoying, and I couldn't get rid of it. And really, I liked the phone; it had a beautiful screen, but the pop-up just, I tried everything. Very, very annoying. It really put me off ZTE. This one has nothing like that, probably because it was through AT&T, so I don't have to worry about that. Okay, bye.